All right, guys, I am here with my friend Caylyn Pruitt, also known as Cay. Cay and I met 6 months or so ago. We got introduced by a mutual friend named Don Wentrick. Don does some amazing stuff with an organization called Innovate Within, and he wanted us to get connected. So that's how we got connected, and I just absolutely love your story. All the people in Bulls in Business love your story, love what you're building, and I'll let you kind of tell what you do. So I always like when we do these interviews, I like to do where are you at now? And then we can kind of go into the backstory, and then we can kind of go, where do you see the future of Cay Pops? But like I said, this is just a conversation and just really excited that you guys are here and thankful that you guys drove up. So why don't you just take a little bit and just introduce yourself and tell everybody, where you're from and what you're building.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited, but my name is Caylyn Pruitt. I actually just turned 19 yesterday, and I'm from Columbus, Indiana, and I have a home-based bakery called Cay Pops. I started it 3 years ago, and I just love baking and entrepreneurship and being creative with desserts and being hands-on, but I love being an entrepreneur and having the flexibility and just getting to be my own boss and meet customers, and it's been super fun. A little bit about me is I love to travel and hang out with people. I love animals and being silly and content creation and just all of the things.
Yeah, you speaking of content creation, tell us about the video that you did with your dad, or like how many views is that up to? Because I know you're pushing for a big number.
So my reel just hit 950K views, and our goal is to get it to 1 million. So that's at Cay Pops Bakery on Instagram, and it was so much fun.
So you got to share it, and the best part is Kay's dad's name's Chad, and Chad's incredible. But when I watch the video, I'm thinking like, this is just Chad. He's not even acting. He's like, just like, because it's that song. It's like, what you doing? Mm-hmm. What you doing? And he's just kind of following you around the kitchen and stuff. So
there was no acting. He does that every single day.
He's the, what was like the chief product officer or something, chief tasting officer.
He has to taste test every single batch.
Sure.
Let's just say that.
Some sacrifices of a dad. So 15, you were 15 when you started it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And pre that, like what did baking look like? Who was like the person that really inspired you to get into baking and stuff?
So I had a neighborhood friend, and her mom worked at a bakery in Columbus, and she was the one who taught me how to make cake pops.
Okay.
And they were super yummy, and I was like, this sounds fun. I want to try it on my own. And then COVID was shortly after that, so I had a lot of time on my hands to test recipes and to try making cake pops on my own. But it took about like 10 tries before they were even presentable.
Right.
So it's very tricky dessert, and I found my niche in cake pops. But yeah, my neighbor was the one who taught me how to do that, and then I just am basically self-taught after that. I've just been, testing different recipes and working with everything in the kitchen. We have some family recipes that we like to use, and then finding stuff online and tweaking it to what I like. But yeah.
Awesome. So Cay Pops, you also do cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And your cookies are extremely delicious, number one, but then also like the decorations, and they're extremely customizable. Like, how do you do that? I explain how you do that with, the art that you put on there.
So the royal icing sugar cookies, it's like a basic kind of shortbread cookie, and then it's a custom royal icing. So once I put on the royal icing, it has to harden for like 24 hours so I can be able to decorate it. I can put your name or logo, colors, everything is specific to your theme. So it could be perfect for like a wedding or bridal shower, birthday. Any occasion, these custom treats are perfect, and everything is hand drawn. So I have a projector that helps me get the image, so I'm not just having to go off of memory.
Right.
But yeah, everything is still handmade and definitely made with love.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun and
the
creative.
projector, I think you were telling me the projector, like it's just something in the baking industry, right? Like it's something that people do. Because when you told me that the first time, I was like, my grandma wasn't using a projector back in the day.
Yeah, a little mini cookie projector.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's awesome. So when we met, right? You were doing pitch competitions. Like, how did things go from, this hobby of baking to all of a sudden you're doing and winning pitch competitions and you're starting to build a company that people are getting really excited about? So tell us a little bit about that, right? Where, like, when did that momentum really start picking up, where, like, what pushed you to, this is actually something that I should be doing. Like, there's money coming in from this, and there's more money than what we were expecting. So what did that look like?
Yeah, so my mentor from high school, Mrs. Daly, she got me involved in Innovate Within because I wasn't even in the entrepreneurship class. I was in one of her accounting classes, but she was like, hey, you already have a business, you should try out for this. So I got through the first phase of like the video pitch. Then I moved on to regionals, and I shared like my 5-minute pitch about my story, and I was the winner of that. So I won $1,000, and then that got me onto state. Between the process of regionals and state, I was working on like refining the pitch, and then that's when I actually met you through the mentorship. And I was not one of the top 3 winners, but it created so many new
We still demand a
opportunities.
recount on that, but we'll talk about that later.
But yeah, just getting to practice working on a pitch, and it grew my confidence and just public speaking skills.
So going back to that though. So it's funny because like I didn't actually know all of that. So this teacher, what was the teacher's name again?
Mrs. Daly. Laura.
Shout out to Mrs. Daly. You're awesome. So Mrs. Daly was the one that connected you to Innovate Within.
Yes.
But when Mrs. Daly, when you started interacting with her, you had money coming in from this business. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
So I had already been going for probably a year and a half. I had already had some sales. So I think that helped me in my pitch competition because it was real, not just an idea.
Right.
And then I just kept working with that, and actually having an assignment of working on a pitch was super helpful because then it helped me get it on paper. And like I had a deadline. In entrepreneurship, it's tricky because, you're the one setting your schedule and the standards. So having kind of that homework helped me just move along faster. And to Innovate Within, I got to go to DC. I'd never been there because COVID actually canceled the trip when we were supposed to go in 8th grade. So that was super cool. And then just all of the connections that brought. I'm actually in the process of a national trademark right now.
Nice.
And I got a pro bono help with the attorney working on that. So hopefully we'll be getting approved within the next couple of months. And because I had already had that pitch prepared, I had a local one in Columbus, and I was actually the winner, and I won $7,500.
Nice. What was the organization in Columbus that was doing that?
So it's through our chamber. It's called the Columbus Catalyst Pitch Competition, and it's just kind of like a sector of the chamber as a whole. And yeah, I was competing against several different other adults.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask that. Was that
cool.
like a high school thing, or there's like other? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like one of the only teenagers, and I tied for first place. And having that extra income that wasn't just like physically the hands-on baking, I didn't even really realize that was a thing that was possible. And it just opened up a lot of different cool opportunities. And now I'm just always searching for the newest place to share my story and potentially grow my business through that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get into like where you're at as far as like the business and what's next, and, people that are listening, how they could potentially get involved or get their family members involved with Cay Pops. But talk a little bit more about, when you were the operator of the business, right? So you're down in Columbus, Indiana, and, how much time were you given to this on a weekly basis? Like from order, right? Like, so how did somebody order from you? And when they ordered from you, what type of a timeline was it to get the product delivered? And, the figuring out like building a website, how am I going to take payments? How am I going to invoice people? Because I think that's something that could help people because, people can come up with products and ideas, but then like the actual execution, right, of the, how do I get this to people? And then how do I get paid to get this to people? So like, just tell me about like the problems you had to solve to get to the point to where you're at today with being able to do that.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I was just, starting from nothing. None of my family has really been an entrepreneur, so we're just kind of going with the flow and trying stuff. But I love baking over quarantine. And I actually started a fundraiser through my cross-country team where I was selling 50% to the team and then 50% to growing my business. And this was through chocolate chip cookies. I didn't feel comfortable just asking people for money.
Right.
So I created that fundraiser. And then it blew up. I was like, oh, well, I should be making money through this. So I turned my hobby into a business. And then that's when I filed for my LLC and did my logo and trademark and all of that. We used like the Indiana.gov trademark thing. So that was very helpful information. Not too hard. I'd help with my dad, but
real quick on the chocolate chip cookie fundraiser, like how much money did you bring in from that?
I think I was able to donate $1,000 to the team.
Nice. So you sold like $2,000 worth of cookies.
I think so.
Do you think you could have
do it year after year?
That's awesome. Do you think you could have just went out and raised $1,000? Like it probably was way easier because you were giving, they were going to spend money on that kind of stuff anyway. So
people were willing to donate to both causes rather than maybe me just asking for money.
That's good.
So that was the big launch into my business. And, the product iterations has really grown over time. I used to have cake pops that the stick was sitting down, and now over time I stand them up now and make sure all the bubbles are popped into perfection. And it takes time, but you just keep learning. And how customer orders now, they order through my website, caypops.com, and I created that through GoDaddy. I did everything by myself, but I really enjoyed learning how to create a website. And so once they order, they'll choose their location, and then they'll go through this order form where they put in their contact information and then what desserts they want, and then the custom theme and colors, and then their desired due date. Then I always follow up with a confirmation within 24 hours. I don't want to keep them waiting on are they going to accept this or not? So I like to be very responsive. And then once I've done the confirmation, then we just talk a little bit more details. And then whenever the order is ready, we'll do pickup or delivery.
Nice. Awesome. And how are you getting customers?
I primarily get customers through Facebook. I do a lot of social media advertising on Instagram and Facebook, but typically the teenagers and demographic on Instagram are not the ones who are buying. It's more the moms who are ordering for their kid's birthday party. So primarily Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay. So now the fun part. Where are you at today? How do you, is Cay Pops going to stay in Columbus, Indiana? How do you take Cay Pops and spread it all over Indiana and eventually all over the country? What's your vision for that?
Yeah. So currently we have a location in Columbus, Indiana, and then I just recently launched a Bowling Green location, which my aunt is running. So the model is, we call it a Cay Pops Bakers Network. And through this, it's several different home-based bakeries all over Indiana where they're working out of their home and utilizing their oven and already all the tools that they already have. And it's low overhead. So this is a way to scale home-based bakeries rather than having to go through a whole storefront and everything. So it's a nice meet in the middle between a franchise and contracting. And the goal is that the bakers will just shop, bake, decorate, and deliver. And then Cay Pops Corporate will cover the rest. So we'll help with the marketing, and advertising, and accounting, and the hard part of a business where maybe the bakers wouldn't want to do. And I've taken 4 years of my knowledge, and I'm going to train bakers in a week.
Nice. Who do you think is your ideal partner to bring on? Somebody to join the network?
Yeah, I think that it's suitable for a high schooler because I started when I was 15 and I was also a student athlete. So I think a high schooler could do it. I think a stay-at-home parent, while they have a kid, they could totally do that in some of their hours while at home. I think that a retiree could do it. There's so many different demographics that I think would be perfect for this gig, as long as you fit like the minimum requirements of a clean kitchen, and you're willing to put in the hours and creativity and good customer service. Then fill out the form on kpops.com, and
Right.
we'll go through the application process.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea of that. So if you've got somebody at home that loves to bake, or you yourself love to bake, Kay and her company are going to do the marketing. They're going to give you the recipes. They're just going to make the process a lot easier for you. And I think you did a great job of explaining. I was going to ask, why doesn't somebody just go start their own thing? But right. I think you really drive that home. They could get speed to market, right? Because of everything that you've already done and what you've already built. So yeah. What's one of the most exciting things that this whole journey of, taking Cay Pops from a hobby to a business and now, a network of bakers, what's one of the most exciting adventures or side quests, as we like to say, that you've been able to go on through that?
Yeah. What's really cool is through my business, I've been able to become financially independent as a teenager. So I got to buy my own car. I was able to max out my Roth IRA for 2 times, and then just continue to be prepared to eventually move out. And so that's been super cool. And that's why I recommend teenagers to get into this, so they can do the same thing. And then it's also been awesome to meet new people. I love the personal relationships with customers and bringing on new bakers. When we did the grand opening for the Bowling Green location, it was so much fun with the grand opening and meeting all of the new network of people in the Kentucky area. That was awesome. And just like having a big party. It was so fun.
Yeah,
I'm just excited to keep doing this throughout the U.S.
Yeah, I saw some pictures and videos and stuff from the grand opening, and you guys did it big, which was really, really, really exciting. Talk about your car, because I think that's something that I think you do a great job of this, and I talk to a lot of business owners about always be representing your brand everywhere you go, because you're always wearing Cay Pops, right? It's like you're branded, your personal brand is like always on you. So like, what's your thought process there? Like from, your earrings to your car, why are you so focused on that?
Yeah, I think personal branding is huge. It brings like that personal aspect to a business. When you go to Walmart and buy cupcakes, you're buying from like a big box store. When you're buying from Cay Pops, you're buying from Caylyn Pruitt, and she made these. And that's why being on brand in my teal and brown is so important. I have, like, my whole wardrobe is almost 90% blue. And that's why I had to get the car, because everywhere I go around town, they're like, that's Cay Pops. And then it puts that thing in your mind of, oh, I should order. I have something coming up. It's just, what are the ways that I can get people to think about my brand, and being very intentional about it? And people don't even realize it's advertising. It's like the subtle way of getting Cay Pops on their mind.
Yeah.
And I just love the color teal, and it goes great with everything. So when I was ready to have a car, I was like, I'm set on this one. I was not going to take any other car for an option. So my parents they flew to Buffalo and drove my car back. So I think, I don't know, I'm so thankful that they were willing to do that. I was at running team camp while they were doing that, or at some type of church camp. I don't know. That's why awesome. I wasn't there. But when I came back, my beautiful car was waiting in the driveway. I was so excited.
You were so jacked from that. Yeah. Okay. So we have, you've talked about your parents a couple of times. For kids that are starting a business, buying a business, looking at a franchise, whatever that is, what do you speak to kids and having their parents involved or not having their parents involved? Tell me what are your thoughts on working with your parents, because your parents are very involved in the business.
Yeah, I think that if you're gonna get into any business as a high schooler, you can't do it alone. So you need to make sure that your parents are involved and willing to also put in the effort, or whether that means having mentors, board of directors, whatever. But when I reached my capacity, my mom came in and became an employee. So it started as me doing everything and filling all the roles. And then from there, it's funny because my mom is one of my employees. It's a 19-year-old. And then my dad has gotten involved in like the bookkeeping and more of the accounting side. And I feel like I've just grown such a strong connection with working on a business with him for a couple of years now. I mean, we spend most nights in the kitchen, all three of us, or singing to music and rolling cake pops, and everyone has a role, and it's like an assembly line. And it's not as fun to do it alone. So I've enjoyed just getting to be in their presence. And we have a great connection, and I love spending time with my parents. So
yeah. That's great. And I see it. I know that that's legit. And, I get to see how proud your parents are of what you did and who you are. So yeah, that's really cool. You just turned 19.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your friends are, either in full-time employment or they're off at college. How do you wrestle with that idea of, seeing kids off, like your friends that you were just, you mentioned when COVID started, you were in junior high, which is hilarious to even think about it that way. But, what does that look like, right? Mm-hmm. Like, do you still get to spend a lot of time with your friends and even though they're kind of off in different places?
So the main reason why I decided to do community college with Ivy Tech is because my business was booming. I didn't want to go away and just like stop it for 4 years. I felt like I was getting something good going and, making money. And I personally didn't feel the need to spend a lot of money at a college when I could do a more affordable option and keep working. So I've been happy with my decision. I'm in the entrepreneurship program, and they've been able to meet me where I am, and I get to work on my business. So all my assignments are actually like working on my business and just continuing to develop that. With the whole friend situation, I have a friend at Taylor, Purdue, Butler, so they're all within the general area. And it has been a little bit hard because I don't feel like I have that core group of girlfriends. But some of my friends are younger. They're still in high school, so I'll meet them for lunch. Or I'm willing to drive up to Indy to meet my friend at Butler. I'm very intentional about being able to texting them and just keeping in contact. And then I'm thankful that my boyfriend is actually local. He just commutes to Indy, so we still get to spend a lot of time with each other. But it's definitely interesting because I have a different college experience than most of my peers.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it. I'm happy with my decision, and I still make ways to see them. And yeah.
Because obviously when you and I get together, we're usually talking about the business. Here's what I'm working on. Is there anything inside the business that you're like, it's we like to call it like a constraint in your business that you're trying to like work through, and we could talk about it like in real time right now. But is there any type of thing that I could help you with in the business?
Probably right now what I'm looking for is leads on bakers.
Okay.
Because I have the network set up and I'm prepared to bring on new bakers and everything. I'm just trying to find the perfect fit. And I know you have a huge connection. And this is one of the target areas I would like to have. So just continuing to, get the name out there and fully understand, explain to people what this is because it's new. No one's ever done this before. So I don't think people have fully understood what the Cay Pops Bakers Network means.
Gotcha. How are you, do you have leads for bakers coming in yet?
I have 3 potential people. Cool. But they haven't filled out the application yet. So I can't decide, is it something that I need to change or do they need more information? I feel like I need to go through some interviewing stages and stuff like that. But
gotcha.
A couple people have reached out.
Okay.
We just haven't gotten to the point of I haven't seen applications flow through yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's something that we could take a look at. Mm-hmm. And Alex Hormozy talks a lot about, there's different points to create friction and eliminate friction in the sales process. And when you're early on like this, we want to make it really easy. We want to like communicate the message of what Cay Pops is to the target audience. Cause like you really have two different audiences. You have the bakers that you're trying to connect with, but then you also have your customers that are buying your yummy treats and stuff. So, that's definitely something that we could take a look at and stuff and see, just making sure that the message is being communicated, cause we've talked about the numbers and, it's pretty attractive for what it would cost for somebody to start up,
Right.
and how quickly they can start making money. It's pretty attractive. So
Yeah, what's cool is that it's proven because we've already launched the Bowling Green network, and she was profitable within the first 2 months and breaking even. And it's flexible, profitable, fun. My aunt all the time says, I love my job. And she's getting to still be involved in all of her other things. So she has a great work-life balance and struggled with that when she had her old job. So, yeah, I want to be able to give that to other people and make them experience the joy and happiness in every bite.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and I remember you saying that, I think it was down in Bowling Green, you guys helped her get a client with a local church. And like, that's something cool about what you do, where if you could, with 2 or 3 ongoing clients like that, I mean, it could be solid money coming in, and, you kind of have, expectable money coming in every week, every month from the same clients, because these people are spending money on baked goods like crazy, and they're just not as customizable as and tasty as what, you and your team can do. So
she makes cookies every month for my brother's church, actually.
Nice.
And it says "You belong here."
Yeah.
And it goes in the welcome gift. And it's super cool because even if there aren't other orders coming in, she can count on having 5 dozen sugar cookies for the month, and just keeps going. And I don't even have that in Columbus.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, you go, girl.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So we wanted to get into, like, we've been talking for a little bit here. Wanted to get into like more details. Like somebody picks up the phone and you're having a conversation with somebody about Cay Pops, your elevator pitch. Do you know why people call it an elevator pitch, by the way?
Because you have like 30 seconds down the
there
elevator
to
be able to talk to them before one of you gets out.
Yes, and you had to get really good at your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Because typically when you were doing the pitch competitions, you had what, like 2-3 minutes up on stage?
I think my elevator pitches were 30 seconds to a minute, and then like my pitches were around 5 to 10.
Okay.
Depends on the thing. So
Got it.
I was thankful that I got to share more detail. If
Yeah.
it's in only 2 to 3 minutes, I could only talk about a little bit.
Right. All right. So I meet you for the first time. You got to tell me about Cay Pops. What the heck's Cay Pops?
Okay. Cay Pops is a premium home-based bakery specializing in custom desserts. So cake pops, sugar cookies, cupcakes, anything that is perfect for your special occasion. And now we're expanding into home-based bakeries all over the U.S. where bakers will shop, bake, decorate, and deliver. And it will provide a flexible and profitable and fun business.
Awesome. Tell me about each one of those steps. I think the last two are pretty obvious. What is the first one? The shop. What does that mean?
So you'll shop for the ingredients in your like local store. So we've done the price comparison to figure out the best cost. And if it's just like a generic item of like the flour, sugar, butter, whatever, then you just find the best price and coupons.
Gotcha. And then obviously bake. And then what was the last one?
Decorate. And then delivering to the end customer, whether that mean actually delivering or them picking up.
Gotcha. What do you see mostly for your customers? Are they picking up or are you delivering them?
I do. The majority of them is deliveries, and that's just because of convenience. Columbus is fairly small, like within a 20-minute radius. So I just do a lot of the deliveries, or like if we're in town, we'll meet them at Kroger or something.
Got it.
At this time, I do not charge for deliveries. I think like if someone was asking me to deliver to Greenwood or Indy, then we'll give them a quote. And Bobette and Bowling Green does charge for deliveries. So we're setting that up with every new baker is
Got
you're
it.
going to have a 3 option of pickup, meet in the middle in town, or a paid delivery.
Got it.
So you can choose whatever makes the most sense for you. But as I've started out with Columbus, it's just kind of like a perk, I guess. Of
Right.
I'll deliver it because one of us is out during the day.
Yeah.
So.
Got it. I was actually just thinking because you mentioned Kroger and you were talking about wearing your branding everywhere you go, and you do such a great job of that. I highly recommend if you own a roofing company, you own whatever the heck you do. It's just such a conversation starter. So if you own a business, always be wearing your brand, always be repping your brand. That's something that Kelly and I have been talking to Owen about a lot. So he's wearing Indie Photo Fun everywhere he goes.
Yeah. And
people are asking what that is. But I could imagine like you're in Kroger, you're in Walmart in Columbus, and you walk around the corner. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot real time. You walk around the corner and you see one of your friend's moms buying a dozen cupcakes. What do you do in this situation?
Oh, betrayal. Honestly, I don't mind if people are buying from Kroger or whatever. You know, some people will need that alternative. Cay Pops is a premium product and brand, but
Nice.
I always love when people will support small, but yeah.
You don't take it too personal though.
No, because honestly, I would be okay like if they got my custom cookies and then went for a cheaper alternative. It really depends on the occasion or what it is. But I understand for like a graduation party, you know, you're serving a lot of people, you get custom your custom name on it, and then you go for some cheaper options.
Got it. What? Yeah, we've talked about a few different items. Like, walk me through the menu. What all can we get?
So we have cake pops, which is a specific cake flavor, and then covered in a chocolate shell and then a drizzle. So we have like chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, lemon, strawberry, red velvet. We have some seasonal flavors as well, so we could do like a pumpkin or a spice or peppermint, something like that. And then cupcakes and cookies. We have like chocolate chip, cinnamon roll cookies. That's a fan favorite. It's a spice cookie with a cream cheese frosting. We have snickerdoodles, if I didn't already say that.
You can never say snickerdoodles to me. No, you didn't already say it, but anyways, go ahead.
And then I have this thing called a casicle. So it's a bigger form of a cake pop in a popsicle
Really?
form. So it's
I haven't
like
seen this
3
yet.
bites versus 1.
Let's go. That's awesome.
And then I also have the custom sugar cookies, and that can be royal icing where you get the like logo and your name on it, or I can do a buttercream sugar cookie, which is like what would be on a cupcake, but it's on a cookie. And then brownies and breads. So I offer a wide variety. Hopefully someone can find, you know, their favorite dessert. And then I've also started incorporating gluten-free items because I've realized that, you know, allergies and all this stuff is becoming a big thing in today's culture.
Absolutely. Well, and something else in like our early conversations that I thought was just really, really cool is how you're able to bake from home legally. Mm-hmm. So can you walk us through that law, how you guys found it, and you know, what the heart and purpose of that law is?
Yeah. So Cay Pops is operating under the Cottage Food Laws of Indiana. And that basically just means you can sell non-hazardous foods out of your home, and you can sell online and deliver it to the customer. It used to be where you could only sell at a farmer's market and you can't sell online. And this is a relatively like new topic. People always think brick and mortar, you know, the prepared desserts, but now they're realizing home-based bakeries are probably more clean and efficient than maybe your typical restaurant. And they're just continuing to be deregulated and work with home bakers, and it's super easy, flexible. Cay Pops doesn't even have to pay sales tax in Indiana. So we're honestly operating under the sweet spot.
That's something for you to think about, like, you know, the listeners out there, if you've got, you've got somebody in your life that you think that this would be a good fit for. I mean, I could see retirees wanting to do this. Like you said, stay-at-home moms. This could be something that a mom could start with, even a preteen daughter, and then the daughter could kind of grow into take over. But there's not a lot of startup capital. Like you don't have to go buy an oven. You got an oven. Yeah, there's some specific baking stuff that you're going to have to get. But, the legalese of it and, all of that, you've done that for them. And that's really, really, really awesome. With you being 19 years old, do you ever run into where you're meeting people in the business world and they overlook you or look at you any type of way because you're only 19 years old?
Probably. When I go to like chamber events, honestly, it's kind of intimidating because I'm so young and then I'm like, ooh, where do I fit in? But maybe instead of them more looking down, they're like, wow, you're so young. This is awesome. You've come so far. So I've been happy to notice that I've gotten more positive feedback about my age and my business than negative. But
that's awesome.
It is hard and challenging because it's different. And I spend probably more time with adults than I do fellow teenagers.
Yeah, that's awesome. So somebody signs up with Cay Pops. What does their startup cost look like? How much money are they sending to Cay Pops in this situation?
Yeah. So in the beginning, we're going to do some like initial investment, we're going to start lower, and it'll be around $6,000 for your initial investment fee. And that will include your startup kit. So you're going to have your teal mixer and then pans and molds and everything that you need. So you don't have to go out and get on your own. And then you'll have your customized grand opening. So we'll throw a big party in your hometown and invite all the people and have a good time. And then we'll also cover like your website and Instagram, social media. Kpops.com will have a drop down of all the different cities. And then I create your Facebook and Instagram. So just like we did for Kentucky, has a Cay Pops BG Instagram tag, and then on the website it's also Cay Pops Bowling Green, Kentucky is the drop down, and then Cay Pops corporate will cover that central marketing aspect, and then the bakers can just bake.
That's awesome. That's good. You make it really. I love that you just make it really easy for them, and then when they get into the system. Your system also makes it really easy for the customer as well, right? Because you see this all the time, like on the Noblesville chatter, Cicero chatter. You've got people asking about they need cookies, they need. I see Cay Pops a lot. Like I think even just that of just the constant onslaught of people needing Cay Pops. So you and I have talked a lot about like different customer interactions that you have. So tell me some about one of your favorite customer stories.
So one time I had a fall festival at an elementary school. It was nearing the end of the event. And I have this Oreo cupcake where an actual Oreo is baked inside of the batter. And when she ate it, oh my goodness, the sound that came out of her mouth just made me so happy. It was hilarious. She was like, this is the best cupcake I've ever had. And that just brings me such confidence in my business that I'm getting all of these customer reactions where they love them so much. And the reviews, that has become super popular. And I feel like, people don't buy from businesses without reading reviews nowadays. So Google reviews, Facebook reviews, all this stuff is super important. And I actually have integrated it into like my messaging system. So after they get their confirmation and they've received their order, I send like, hey, Cay Pops would love to hear your feedback. Here's the link to the Google review.
Nice.
And I found that very helpful. Just yesterday, I was like, how did you hear about Cay Pops? She was searching on Facebook, read a review, and found me. She was an hour away. It's like, wow,
that's awesome.
The word is spreading. So
yeah,
that made me really
absolutely.
happy.
So a couple of things. I don't know if you were there when Leah Hartzell talked, and she was talking about Google reviews.
Yes,
and,
I was.
Yeah. So, and we're getting way more active on the Everable side with our local Google My Business page. But
awesome.
Every time that you respond to people's reviews, those keywords can be used for search as well. So when you're responding, be thinking about that as well. So you're dropping more of the K-pop stuff in there. And more pictures, more videos. Google loves that stuff. And then also you can post more often, but they just recommend once a week. You can actually post like an update of, hey, what's going on in the Cay Pops world. Almost like a social media type platform. So there's a lot more that you can do with Google My Business than I think we realize. We're starting to dive in more with that. Because obviously really that's, cool. You're in a type of business that people are searching for you, right? And you just want to come up at the top of the search when people are searching for it. And obviously, you guys get a lot of business also from referrals as well. So yeah,
referrals are huge. And what's super cool is when I search Cay Pops on Google, it's like 3 pages of just all of these photos and reviews and like newspaper articles. I'm like, wow. And it's cool because Cay Pops, like the word is unique. So it's the only thing that comes up.
Right.
Now you have K-pop, the Korean pop band. But
right.
That's with a K. So.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. Okay. Last question for you. What's a piece of advice that you would give a business owner, any business owner, right? Yeah. Like what's one of the things in business that you're like, me doing this has been extremely helpful in growing my business?
I would say just start. I think people are always nervous, like, at what point do I launch it? I launched probably when it was maybe not even ready to be launched, but just getting the word out there and then continuing to do those iterations and learn from it and grow, that'll just be huge. I know that, like, my dad's wanting to get into writing a book. I'm like, Dad, just do it.
Yeah.
Send it. Like, you never know what will happen until you do it. So that's one piece of advice. Also, be very responsive, and with the customer reactions, you never know who you're going to meet. So just make sure that every interaction is very meaningful. Same thing with the product. Like if you have a batch of 12 and one of them is not as pretty, but they're all sent to 12 different people, and the one person, like, you want it to be great for every single person who encounters whatever product you have.
Yeah, that's amazing. While you were saying that, it made me think about like Michael Jordan talking about every time he played, how he always wanted to play a great game because there was always going to be somebody in the audience that is experiencing him for the first time. And it's the same thing. It's like, if you knew that somebody was experiencing, your cookie for the first time, you're going to want to make sure that it's a great experience. So, and I think you do such a great job of that. So, hey, I'm super proud of you. You are doing absolutely amazing stuff. And it's awesome to see where you were, where you're at now, and then just, cheer you along as you continue to grow, and appreciate you driving up to the Bulls in Business meetings as well. I think that it's really cool when people get to interact with you and Dad. And, they just are like, wow, this girl's the real deal. You are building something that's really, really cool. So keep it up, and we'll have you back on sometime in the future when you've got like 20 different bakers in the network. So yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome. And I always love all of the Business and Bulls. Shout out. You all should come because they're very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally worth the 2-hour drive to go once a month because you're continuous learning.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so important in business.
Yeah. And the thing that I love, one of my favorite things about Bulls in Business is when people come in with a heart to serve each other, right? And when you're in a room with 100 people and 99 are there to serve you, like that's just very powerful, right? So we don't have people that come in that are trying to sell you, right? We have people that are coming in that are trying to help you, and you guys have done a great job with that as well. So, but appreciate you guys, and I just super thankful that you made the trip up. We'll talk to you later.